Gipaubos ni Gobernador Gwen Garcia og general community quarantine ang Tibuok Probinsya sa Sugbo. Apil na kadtong 12 ka mga local government units nga gipaubos sa MECQ with heightened restrictions. Kini human mipagawas og hukom ang Interagency Task Force nga nagdeklara sa tibuok isla sa Sugbo, apil na ang Tri-Cities nga anaa na kini sa GCQ.
I have issued Executive Order number 41. Defining the guidelines and protocols for general community quarantine to be observed by all persons within the province of Cebu. So you have all of these warehouses, and we have defined the protocols for essential establishments as well as non-essential. For tourism, our prohibitions, protocols for religious gatherings and necrological services, for public transport, outdoor sports, border control, curfew, and as I have always been saying, focus on the preventive. Let's not talk about preventive, the same old face mask, face shields, social distancing. Preventive in the sense that you boost your immune system by following the health regimen that we have been advocating since last year. For our restaurants and other dine-in establishments, allowing dine-in at 50% venue capacity. Al fresco dining will be allowed to operate at 100% venue capacity. Spas, salons, parlors, and other personal establishments shall be allowed to operate at 50% venue capacity. But mayors are permitted to lower the venue capacity of the concerned establishments depending upon the COVID situation in their jurisdictions and as the need arises. However, for all of these establishments that are allowed to operate, they shall have proper ventilation with high efficiency particulate air or HEPA filter and ionizer. Air purifiers with high efficiency particulate air HEPA filter and ionizer shall be installed, and which capacity shall be proportionate to the floor area of the establishment. The establishment shall also be regularly cleaned, disinfected, and sterilized with the ultraviolet germicidal light after business hours. And for the usual violent reactions of these very few, all employees of the establishment are required to wear face masks and personal air purifiers at all times. I am speaking here of those that have no ventilation whatsoever. For tourism, Executive Order 20-A Series of 2020 and Executive Order number 13 shall be strictly adhered. Apart from the protocols and guidelines defined under both executive orders, persons engaging, participating, or working in tourism-related activities are required to wear personal air purifiers at all times. I'm not selling, I'm not an ahente, but source out the best priced, good quality personal air purifiers. Following establishments shall need a certificate of compliance to be issued by the provincial government through the Provincial Tourism Office. We have religious gatherings, which shall be allowed to 50% of venue capacity. However, local chief executives may lower as the need arises. Necro, wakes, for those that died of other causes. Public transport. This we are deviating from the GCQ guidelines because we are still not allowing air-conditioned public transport. And we are still requiring the personal air purifiers for all of our drivers and conductors. We also distributed as incentive for our drivers and conductors free vitamins for 1 month. And we might distribute again for another month. That is what we're doing here in the province of Cebu. We put our money where our mouth is. So for public transport, all public utility vehicles operating within the province of Cebu shall observe the guidelines, protocols, and limitations under Executive Order numbers 35 and 35B series of 2021. Only non-air-conditioned PUVs and air-conditioned PUVs with windows fully opened at all times shall be allowed to operate. Drivers and conductors are required to wear not just the personal air purifier, also the face mask. So don't confuse it, okay? I never said do not wear the face mask. Better masada, face mask, okay? Shall be required to wear the face mask and the personal air purifier. So, outdoor sports, only for non-contact sports. We will continue the border control. Interzonal travel within just the island of Cebu shall be permitted. We will continue to require the RT-PCR or rapid antigen test for those coming from other provinces until we shall be comfortable with the COVID situation. The curfew for the province shall be from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. We repeat this. I understand that now Metro Manila is following the granular lockdowns, which we had included in Executive Order 35, empowering our local chief executives to enforce granular lockdowns. I am repeating this under Section 11 for component local government units in observance with Resolutions 29 and 30 IATF and 130-D series of 2021. Municipalities and component cities of the province of Cebu are authorized to implement granular lockdowns within their jurisdiction. This has been practiced by our local chief executives. This is what I have been saying. Let's trust those that were elected into office. They are the ones that have to submit themselves for judgment to the people, not some academician or clinician who hides behind their title and then dictating public policy. That's precisely it. It's public policy. So let's trust our public officials. This is what we're doing now under this executive order, reiterating the cognizance of the province, of the local chief executive's authority to declare a granular lockdown if and when the need arises. For enforcement, and we thank the PNP for continuing with the checkpoints for our public transport vehicles. So the PNP, the Highway Patrol Group, the Land Transportation Office, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, both of which have been very, very supportive of all of our moves, and we thank LTO, headed by RD Kaindek, and LTFRB, headed by Colonel Monte Alto. And the other enforcement agencies are called upon to strictly implement the provisions of this EO. This executive order shall take effect at 12:01 a.m. of September 8, 2021. You ask, what about the LGUs that were previously declared under MECQ? Right now, I am declaring, and under this EO, the entire province under GCQ. If the need arises, we may, as what we have done in the past month, declare some LGUs, if needed, under MECQ. But right now, for clarity and uniformity, we are declaring the entire province under GCQ. We continue with the swab upon arrival. By the way, I cannot overemphasize the importance of the swabbing upon arrival. We do that here in Cebu. And by the way, our testing is free. There is no company or agent that charges in advance for the 7th-day swab over there in Manila. Testing here, swabbing is for free. They are swabbed upon arrival, and it has been proven that this is effective because, you see, maybe not many Filipinos know this. We are one of the very few countries that do not require swabbing upon boarding, before boarding your flight. The airlines only require if the country so requires that the test result. But the Philippines does not require that. So, if you are an ROF or OFW boarding your flight, coming home to the Philippines, you are not required to present a negative RT-PCR test. And yet, according to protocol set by these clinicians, they are only swabbed in Manila on the 7th day. Now you wonder, the Delta variant spread like wildfire in Luzon. You know why? Because you do not catch those that are possibly already infected upon arrival. Here, we have a very super efficient process. The DOH, the BOQ, the MCIAA management have a seamless procedure, and our swabbing here is for free. Over there, the Toxicare collects in advance, even before you reach the Bureau of Immigration. You are supposed to pay already 3,600. So we swab upon arrival for free. And in fact, there was a flight that they asked that we accommodate, we were able to immediately find out, isolate those that tested positive upon arrival. And then, for vaccinated persons, they are tested on the 5th day. On the 5th day, but they are still made to stay for 2 days. Now, I think the logic there is, usually, the test results come out after 48 hours. That is if you're not that efficient. Over here in Cebu, efficiency is like second nature to us. From a seamless procedure at the airport, and then they are brought to the hotels. Fully vaccinated persons are tested on the 5th day. If they are tested early in the morning, the result can come out on that same day. So why wait for 2 more days? Doesn't make sense, does it? That is if you can come up with the results on that day. So I think that should be an incentive for fully vaccinated persons. Over here in Cebu, kaya natin man. As I've been saying, di ba? Vaccination is a matter of choice. Let us not be a polarizing figure here, you know? For those who want the vaccine, we are fully supporting the vaccination program of national government. In fact, our LGUs are now actively, with more vaccines coming in, we are now increasing the number of vaccinated persons. But it should be a matter of choice. Those that choose not to be vaccinated should not be ostracized. However, let us make the vaccination program an incentivized program. If we were to allow those that are fully vaccinated, tested on the 5th day, and the results, in fact, come out on that same day, then there's no point of staying an extra 2 days unless, again, the suspicion comes in that, somebody's earning money here for those extra 2 days when he does. And, you're Cebuano. You're a Cebuano. You're already here on home soil. Many of our OFWs come home for emergency purposes. Someone is dying, someone is very sick, or someone has died. You want to attend the wake. It's maddening, to be frustrating, depressing, and illogical to be made to wait 2 more days. So, I'm just saying, we're very efficient here. Now, I signed. Really, agreed nga it should be incentivized. Mas daghan ni noon and ang gusto ana, di ba? Mas daghan ang maningkamot nga ma-vaccinated kay mamubo ang ilang star. The IATF has already incentivized the vaccination program by shortening the stay from 10 days to 7 days. But the swab is taken on the 5th day. The only logical conclusion that I can make is you are still made to stay for 7 days because the test results usually come out delayed 48 hours later. But over here in Cebu, with our molecular lab, the results can immediately be given on that same day. So what is the logic of staying for another 2 days? Not only for Cebu residents.
Will we issue a memorandum or executive order to this?
I've issued a memo. The entire Cebu province is contiguous to Mandawi City and Cebu City. And as I have shown, whether it be on case positive rate per 100,000 or mortality rate per 100,000, in comparison to Mandawi City and Cebu City, Cebu province is way below. And this is one Cebu island.